Well, Heidi Giokos is on this story for us and at court this morning. Heidi, thanks so much for your time today. Heidi, this case has been on the roll for years. I'm surprised it hasn't been thrown out.
Certainly, Annika, and I think this is why you had the judge last year, October, saying that it's actually unacceptable to have these two suspects behind bars for almost 5 years and still nothing has happened to date. We do understand that the state actually asked for a postponement for March this year, and the judge saying this is completely unacceptable, and the fact that these two suspects have actually not been granted bail and have been behind bars for 5 years, it's just not okay for there to be yet another postponement. So we do understand that today we are expecting a trial date to be set, but what's interesting here is that the two boys, the Thulsie twins, have been behind bars since 2016. Of course, as you mentioned in the introduction, that they were arrested back in 2016 for allegedly being involved in ISIS and possibly setting off bombs, especially at the US Embassy and certain Jewish institutions. So we do know these, of course, are allegations at this stage. But it's going to be interesting, Annika, to see the boys after 5 years. I do know that last year, October, the one brother appeared as the other one was isolating in prison, but hopefully we'll just get more clarity on this matter as it's been sitting in the courts for over 5 years.
I mean, the charges are certainly extremely serious, and, you know, I would think that if there is a successful conviction, those years would be taken off the actual sentence. But it doesn't matter what the charges are, in my view. 5 years to be incarcerated without trial is pretty much like sending someone to Guantanamo. It feels as if justice is failing the system here, not just these suspects, because they haven't been found guilty. Have they been applying for bail in the past, and why has this been denied?
So we do understand that they actually abandoned their bail application back in 2016, and I do think a couple of years later, if it was not last year or the year before, they actually did apply for bail, but it's just been delay after delay, Annika, and as you rightfully say, it's just actually unacceptable, and the judge making it very clear that this is not how the law works. You cannot have somebody behind bars for 5 years and they have not been granted bail, but also at the fact that the state has been delaying and constantly asking for postponements. It speaks again to your point that you made earlier on, is that we're all very surprised that this has not been struck off the roll, because how do you have a case sitting in court for 5 years and there's been no progression? So I think these are questions that hopefully we'll be able to pose to the MPA. Hopefully they'll be here today, but as you mentioned also, that it's a very busy day in the courts today, so we just need to get clarity from the National Prosecuting Authority as to why there have been so many delays, and hopefully this case can proceed. The judge, of course, not happy at all, saying that today will be the day that a trial date is set, so hopefully we'll get clarity from this matter.
Has the state been asking for postponements due to needing time for further investigation? What's been their reason for needing these constant postponements?
Yes, just further investigation, and Annika, I think just the whole case in itself, I mean, being accused and allegations of being linked to ISIS, that's a very serious matter, so I think they definitely need to have their ducks in a row and figure out exactly what truly transpired here, but that does not warrant or justify 5 years later and still nothing has happened. So as I mentioned, I think it's important for us to get more clarity from the National Prosecuting Authority, but it's been a matter of gathering evidence, trying to understand what truly happened, and I think it's just more of trying to investigate and get witnesses and evidence to proceed with this matter, especially from the state side.
All right, thank you so much for standing by there, Heidi Giokos. We'll keep in touch with you throughout the day, and hopefully either a trial date will be set, but if the NPA is not ready to go ahead, then the courts really should strike this from the roll.